let's say you make a donation and you will get a tax cut. That is so nice, but not that particular. But let's say, in addition to that, you will get a present as a thank you gift. That is so unbelievable. Let's also say, in some cases, the amount of tax cuts and the thank you gifts can be larger than the amount of the donation. Would this be possible? And actually, yes, in Japan. Today, I'm going to talk about Japan's unique system. It's called the hometown taxation program. To put it simply, you donate and receive tax cuts and thank you presents. This is amazing. So, why did this happen? As you may know, Japan has a serious social issue of aging population and declining birth rate. So, the whole population is decreasing at an alarming rate. So you might say that it's good if people live comfortably, but the reality is that there is widening gap between the cities and non-populated areas. So the mechanism is that the population decreases and the tax decreases, especially for the non-populated areas. And this will bring less investment on social infrastructures. For example, the roads can't be paved and hospitals and schools can't be built, no nursery schools or cultural centers in extreme cases. Then the city becomes less attractive. Then the population decreases even more, and the gap between the cities and non-populated areas will be widened even more. That means the tax decreases more, especially for the even non-populated areas. And this means even less investment on the social infrastructure. So again and again, this will decrease the population even further. So for a long time, Japan has been thinking about how to solve this gap between cities and non-populated areas, especially in terms of the tax. Um, with this background, the hometown taxation program began. In Japanese, the place where you were born or grew up, or a place you're familiar with, is called furusato. For this reason, when you say furusato, it may be misunderstood as being a system of paying tax to the local government of your hometown. However, it actually refers to donating to local governments throughout Japan, not just your hometown. And it's not hard to imagine you get a tax cut for the donation. And the main reason why Furusato Nose or hometown taxation program is so unique is that some municipalities will send you a gift in return. And it's very wide in span. For example, meat, seafood, and eggs, rice, bread, vegetables, fruit, or beverages, alcohol, and in some cases, even electronic products. So let's check out the trend. From this graph, you can find the number of donations from the line graph, and the legend is the right side of the vertical axis. And you can find the amount from the bar graph, and the legend is the left side of the vertical axis. And the amount now is 830 billion Japanese yen, or 6 billion US dollar. You may not have an image of this amount. Um, The budget of the United States has set for a year is about $3,300 billion, and Japan also has over $1,000 billion, third in the world. It's a very huge amount of money. However, if you look down the rankings, Paraguay, Angola, Cameroon, or Cyprus, and this is an island country in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, or El Salvador, or Tanzania, or Botswana, their annual government budget is less than 6 billion US dollar. Um, so Japan's donation to Furusato Nose or hometown taxation program, um, the whole tax getting from it is more than the annual government budget of these countries. It's amazing, and I was very surprised when I firstly saw it, but it seems like um, a really ridiculous amount. So, how many times do they donate? The time is over 40 million times. So, for reference, the population of Japan is about 120 million, and more than a third of the population did the donation. If you look only at the working age population, excluding babies, students, etc., the percentage will be much higher. But by the way, it's not only Japanese, it's all the people who live in Japan. But it doesn't change the whole picture. So still, it is a tremendous number indeed. Whether you look at the number or times of the amount, you can see that this is really very, very successful donation program. Now, this shows the ranking of preference prefectures in terms of the amount of donation. Um, let's talk by Japanese yen. The total amount was 830 billion Japanese yen, and Hokkaido alone is 120 billion Japanese yen. And this takes almost 15% of the total. It seems like Hokkaido is the home for many of the people, but as mentioned before, it doesn't necessarily be the hometown, and you can choose where you like. By the way, the population of Hokkaido do takes around 4% of the total population in Japan. That means Hokkaido is very, very attractive for the donors. Then what would that be? What makes it so attractive? The most popular one is the seafood. And some of you may have been to Hokkaido and you may see it's a heaven for the food, especially the seafood. For example, crab, salmon roe, sea urchin roe, and tuna are very famous, and ramen. I think Hokkaido is a ramen republic as well. And personally, I love ramen, so let me explain a bit more detail regarding the ramen. Um, you can see many ramen here. So the let's start from the beginning. Soy sauce ramen. This is the 101 of ramen. It is light brown soup made with soy sauce and has a light taste. Soy sauce is the most commonly used seasoning in Japanese culture, so it's most familiar flavor for Japanese people. And number two, uh, it's the salt ramen. This is also a standard ramen. The soup is made with salt and a seasoning made by chicken bones and pork bones. It is said that it's difficult to make delicious shio ramen or ramen because it's very simple and it relatively doesn't don't use seasonings that much. So you really need to win by the pure flavor. And number three, the next one is the miso ramen. The soup uses miso as the sauce, making its flavor so rich. Miso has the effect of suppressing the odor of meat, so it's often combined with a seasoning made from pork bones, so it can have a very rich flavor. And miso ramen has a strong flavor in itself, so even if you add vegetables, the flavor won't be diluted. And the next one is tonkotsu ramen. The soup is made from the boiled pork bones and collagen and other nutrients from the bones, giving it a white, rich flavor. Because the soup is made from pork bones, it has a unique smell. So some people might not like it. The next one is tori taitan ramen. This its soup is made by the chicken instead of the pork bones. And just like pork bones, nutrients are released from the chicken bones, making the soup while white and cloudy. And it's not as thick as tonkotsu and has a mild yet very rich flavor that makes you feel at ease. It's not too heavy, so it's very popular for women. And the last one is the tantan noodle. It is white, cloudy soup and spicy taste. In Japan, it's common to have a mild white soup made with ground sesame seeds and soy milk combined with chili oil and chili bean sauce. Originally a dish of Sichuan, China, and now very famous in Japan as well. Okay, I think I diverted a bit. Maybe it's better to deal with at the separate video. Let's come back to our topic and go through Miyazaki Prefecture, which has been ranked number 2 at the hometown taxation program. Miyazaki Prefecture is located at the in the southeastern part of Kyushu and has a tropical climate. The number of hours of sunshine and amount of rainfall are among the highest in Japan, and it is rare to see snow. And it's very famous for the livestock industry. For example, its Wagyu is among the top 10 in Japan. And also famous for the chicken, mangoes, oysters, sake, etc. Okay, and the third popular prefecture is Fukuoka. Fukuoka is said to be a treasure trove of food, so people normally visit here for food in addition to the sightseeing. Fukuoka City, which is also the center of city of Kyushu, is characterized by its high convenience. By the way, this city has always been ranked one of the top as an attractive city to live in. Fukuoka's most famous dishes are mizutaki and motsunabe. This is a soup of organs of the beef or the pork, and the tonkotsu ramen and many of the sweets. And the next prefecture is Kagoshima. Kagoshima is so famous for sweet potatoes, so there are a bunch of dishes and sweets made of it. And the beef is the top without a doubt. And its beef is called as kurobuta, which means black pork. And in recent years, kurobuta has started to gain attention internationally for its sweetness and tenderness. And this is attributed to the pigs eating sweet potatoes, which is mentioned above. So famous sweet potatoes and pigs eating it make it sweet. And in Kagoshima, the preferred ways to eat kurobuta are tonkotsu or tempura or shabu-shabu. Also, its wagyu is one of the top. Kagoshima beef won the prestigious Wagyu Olympics in 2017. Kagoshima is so famous for sweet potatoes, so there are a bunch of dishes and sweets made of it. And the beef is the top without a doubt. Its brand is referred as Kurobuta, which means black pork. And in recent years, Kurobuta has started to gain attention internationally for its sweetness and tender meat. And it's because they eat sweet potatoes, as mentioned above. And the preferred ways to eat kurobuta are as tonkatsu, a deep-fried pork cutlet, or tonkotsu, simmered pork on the bone, or shabu-shabu, thin slices of meat parboiled in broth. And also, its wagyu is also one of the top. Kagoshima beef won the prestigious Wagyu Olympics in 2017. But there are some unexpected gifts as well. For example, you can get a right to be an animation hero for a day if you donate 1 million Japanese yen. Or there is also a right to broadcast your story to the local radio show. And you can get a chance to have a camping at the unmanned island. And they will provide you all the items required for the camping, including transportation, barbecue ingredients, and so on. Finally, you can get the bugs, and they will send you a couple so that they won't be lonely. Okay, so we went through the hometown taxation program. Hope you like this video, and I will come back soon with a new topic. Thank you.